Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. You actually get two XRP videos today. This one's going to be more of like a montage of talking points that came out of that House Financial Service Committee hearings. And let me tell you something, they did not disappoint in any way. And the other one's going to be more around the growth of Ripple and XRP and where XRP could be going in the future. But here we are right now sitting here looking at the 1 hour chart, and guess what? We're exactly where we were yesterday, hovering around 50 cents. But you know what I cannot wait for? I cannot wait for XRP to start skyrocketing. You know, all those people outside of crypto that ever doubted you, ever thought that you were crazy for putting money into XRP. Most of you were probably buying right after the fall of FTX and the mainstream media news calling crypto dead. People thought you were crazy for putting more money in at that moment. But you know, when XRP finally takes off and you get to show them how much your XRP holdings are worth, that's the moment they will realize you were not the crazy one, that they were crazy for not getting into crypto when they had the chance. Because at that moment, XRP will price so many people out so fast, they will be shocked by it. And you know, that time is definitely coming. So we're going to start with this, and this has some people speculating that Ripple might actually announce an IPO before Friday. Take a listen.
And they're just really dedicated public servants. In terms of the markets, I would say if a company were deciding to go public or raise offerings, they'd want to go effective before Friday if they're ready to. If not, they might be in a sort of subliminal state where they can't access the markets because we can't effectively review those.
Let me read.
Now, I don't want to speculate anymore around Ripple's IPO. There's way too much speculation around that already. But if they were to announce it, Gary Gensler is saying that they need to do it before Friday in case of the government shutdown. But let's continue.
Redirect you for a second to, okay, companies raising capital, but your SEC is a whipping boy, you know that. But the truth is, the organization is full of people who are out there prosecuting fraud, who are stopping insider trading. Are we going to see, if there is a meaningful shutdown, fraud go unprosecuted, insider trading? You won't have the capacity to address these things, which hurt the American public, correct?
Yeah. While somebody can still file a tip, complaint, and referral, somebody can file a whistleblower, there won't be the people on the other side to really review it and investigate it.
So, in other words, if there's a government shutdown, Gary won't be able to prosecute insider trading, which he wasn't prosecuting insider trading anyway, because we know all the guilty parties in the White House that are guilty of insider trading, yet none of them have been prosecuted. And that insider trading still continues until today. So is a government shutdown really going to stop Gary from doing anything that he's doing now? Put it in the comments section down below. Now, Tom Emmer slammed Gensler pretty good. Take a listen to this.
Do you believe the vast majority of digital assets meet the investment contract test and are therefore securities operating illegally outside of the U.S. regulatory umbrella?
As I've said, many of these assets are basically the public is anticipating
Sir, is
profits
that a yes?
based on the efforts of others.
Is the answer then yes?
Again, without prejudging anyone, I do think that the significant
Reclaiming my
majority
time.
are
I'll take it as a
investment
yes.
contracts.
And to be clear, sir, this perspective has nothing to do with a concern you noted in a speech last year where you said, quote, over the past year, several bank executives have shared their concerns with me about the sheer number of depositors who have moved money from their bank accounts into crypto-related exchanges and wallets, end quote.
You know, that's why they're so worried about crypto wallets. They want to know exactly how much crypto me and you are holding. You know, because they want to first make sure that we're not money launderers and that we're paying our fair share of taxes. But they also are concerned about the money leaving the bank and ending up in crypto at the same time.
Right?
The concern that those bank executives raised was that there's
Again, I'm reclaiming my time,
customers were
sir.
getting
No,
hurt.
I've asked you to answer the questions as short as I can so I can use the time I have, and it's clear that you would like to avoid answering the questions, in my opinion. An Obama-appointed judge in the Southern District of New York, a bank-friendly jurisdiction where you bring most of your cases, recently found that decentralized financial technology, quote, not only removes the so-called middlemen from these transactions, but it also allows users to interact through a variety of methods in an easy and efficient manner, end quote. The court also said underwriters, like the ones at banks where you work, sir, are, quote, precisely the types of individual roles that decentralized exchanges were designed to eliminate, end quote. Mr. Gensler, can you assure this committee that your style of regulation by harassment towards digital asset innovation is to the benefit of every American and not driven by your desires to protect industry incumbents?
This is a field that's rife with fraud and manipulation, and I'm looking out for the American investors who've been hurt by the crypto.
Yeah. I'll reclaim
fraudsters
my
and
time. Mr.
scammers.
Gensler, despite your
Do you honestly think Gary is protecting anyone? I don't think so. Look at all the people that got hurt with the fall of FTX, while Gary turned a blind eye. And, you know, a lot of those investors were retail investors. They're out of crypto for good. They're never coming back. And, you know, I like the fact that Tom Emmer makes him say the right things because it points out exactly who Gary's working for.
years of rhetoric, like today, I'm convinced you are not an impartial regulator. Instead, it's clear that you are working to consolidate your own power, even though it means crushing opportunities for everyday Americans and, frankly, the financial future of this country. Even the federal courts are highlighting the damage you, sir, are doing to our constituents, and they're telling you that you don't have the legal authority to accomplish your goal of squashing competition in the financial markets. Congress has been telling you that too. Now, Mr. Gensler, I believe our great financial system is the definition of freedom in this country. And congressional policies must provide room for the traditional financial system to evolve alongside the disruptive digital asset ecosystem. That said, it cannot be understated that a common theme throughout your career, sir, is your relentless loyalty to the largest financial institutions at the clear expense of innovation, competition, and everyday Americans.
I think that was absolutely incredible because he actually called Gary out for being tied in with the big banks and not working for the American people. And at the same time, he's pushing innovation right out of this country. And, you know, these people are true Americans. They actually care about the American people, where Gary Gensler only cares about Gary Gensler. So this video answers my question. The Biden administration can only fire Gary Gensler. Take a listen.
You're pushing a woke political and social agenda, and I think abusing your role in the authority of the SEC as cover. So, you know, I think fundamentally the SEC Stabilization Act would remove the role of chairman. It would preserve the current commissioners, but it would add a sixth commissioner. So there would be no more than 3 from any one political party. And so that would provide a path that would make the SEC do what you're avoiding. Frankly, you're front-running Congress, you're front-running the courts, you're front-running even the own administration, and no one has held you to account for that. I mean, I wish the Biden administration would say you're fired, but the list of folks they need to do that for is long. Congress hopefully will with the SEC Stabilization Act.
So the Stabilization Act could possibly fire Gary Gensler. I think they're looking for a way to go around this administration and get rid of Gary Gensler before it's too late. Now, this is absolutely incredible as well. You got to hear this.
Choke off the digital asset ecosystem, which has created real harm for consumers and our markets, is clear to all. You said the law is clear, but your actions have created more confusion and lasting damage. Chair Gensler, you've also said your goal is consumer protection. Yet your actions have pushed legitimate digital asset activities outside of regulated financial institutions where consumers are best protected. On one hand, we've seen bipartisan votes in Congress, in this committee, to provide clear rules of the road and real consumer protection. And on the other, we've seen your ad hoc regulation by enforcement approach to digital assets on a losing streak in the courts. You refuse to be transparent with Congress regarding your interactions with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. That's the investigation we started last Congress. Finally, your lack of responsiveness to this committee's legitimate oversight continues to be unacceptable. And I want to finish here. In February, the committee made multiple requests for documents to the Securities Exchange Commission. This is normal congressional oversight. Yet 7 months later, the committee has not received a single non-public document that was not part of a FOIA production. As I said, our patience is wearing thin. The SEC is not above the law, nor is it unique. Other financial regulators have routinely complied with congressional oversight. So let me be clear. I do not want to be the first chairman of this committee to issue a subpoena to the Securities Exchange Commission. And you should not want to be the first SEC chair to receive a congressional subpoena. Either we find a path forward where the SEC recognizes Congress as a co-equal branch of government and is responsive to our oversight duties, or my option is to issue a subpoena.
So it looks like they're going to have to subpoena Gary to get the documents that they want, because 7 months went by and he has not given them anything. And you know why? Because he knows he's guilty when it comes to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, Richie Torres is another true American, and he brings up tokenization. And I think he did this because it proves exactly what Gary thinks about crypto and blockchain. Take a listen to this.
Suppose I were to purchase a Pokemon card. Would doing so constitute a security transaction?
You could purchase a Pokemon card. I don't know what the context is, but if you're just purchasing a Pokemon card.
If I purchase a Pokemon card, is
at
that a security
retail
transaction?
store, that's not a security.
Okay. If I were to purchase a tokenized Pokemon card on a digital exchange via a blockchain, is that a security transaction?
I'd have to know more.
Okay. So for you, the process of tokenization is what transforms a non-security
just said
transaction into a security transaction?
Look, if the investing
I thought you were technology neutral.
If the investing public is anticipating profits based upon the efforts of others and they're exchanging funds, that's the core.
I see my time is.
So buying a Pokemon card is not a security, but buying a tokenized Pokemon card looks like Gary thinks that is a security. You know what this comes down to? Gary hates crypto and blockchain. And he hates innovation expanding and growing inside the United States. But I think Richie Torres brought up tokenization because he knows it's the next big thing around crypto. Even the Fed is now looking at tokenization as well. Now, this is Andy Ogles, and he talks about Gary Gensler tap dancing around the questions.
When you look at like the climate disclosure, and the burden that's being put on businesses to track their supply chains, you're now creating an enforcement mechanism that the company has to enforce on its supply chain. So again, these rules that you're pushing down on business, that you're pushing down on these instruments, only does one thing but drive up costs on, at the end of the day, the end use. So the very people that you're trying to protect, you're hurting because of the arbitrary nature of the rules that you've put in place. It's very frustrating. And again, Mr. Chairman, I'm about out of time, but I was just going to say that I would say open up the floodgates, hit them with subpoenas, get the information we need, the obfuscation and not answering questions. I'm sick and tired of it. I've sat back here and I've listened to this entire hearing. I mean, dude, you wear tap dancing shoes better than Fred Astaire, and enough is enough. And I don't mean any disrespect.
You know, honestly, they are tired of Gary not answering any questions. And it happens time and time again. And they're just getting fed up with him. And now they're trying to come up with a workaround to fire Gary Gensler. And at the same time, we have people like Maxine Waters saying that Gary's doing a great job. Do you know what I see going on here is this? On one side, you have people that are pro-America, pro-innovation, pro-crypto, and they want crypto crypto to strive and grow. And on the other side, you have people like Maxine Waters, who could care less about crypto. They think Gary's doing a great job by crushing crypto. And this is the same lady seen right here. Maxine Waters in 2020 to 2021. I love Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. Send crypto donations to me and my Democrat friends. But he was also sending donations to Republicans as well. You got to look at both sides here. And it doesn't matter if he sent more money to Democrats and less to Republicans. These people are guilty of taking money from Sam Bankman-Fried, and they're guilty of taking money away from retail investors. Now, Maxine Waters in 2022 to 2023, crypto is a scam and dangerous, and Gary Gensler is a knight in shining armor. She turns everything around now. Crypto's evil. You know, it's only in the hands of criminals and money launderers. The same way that Elizabeth Warren talks about it. And these clown alerts who say Gary Gensler is doing great work. And Brad Sherman is just an absolute moron. This guy is so U.S. government driven. He wants to see the U.S. government take control over me and you. You know, he thinks it's okay for the U.S. government to continue printing money out of thin air while inflation keeps rising on the everyday person, you know, that can't afford gas and groceries at the same time. Now, then there's this, and this is Gary on Bitcoin, and I'm going to point something out that's very important here.
Your view on Bitcoin, you've made comments on this. You believe Bitcoin is not a security. Is that true?
Well, I think the staff of the SEC have also, and the prior
Well,
chair.
I'm just asking you this question, and this is not a gotcha. I thought there's going to be an easy softball into harder questions. Do you think Bitcoin is a security?
No, I think I've said this in the past that I think that it doesn't
I'm asking
meet
you
the
to
Howey
answer
test.
my question now. This is not supposed to be hard.
I know. I said it
Just
does
answer-
not meet the Howey test, which is the
Okay.
law of the land about being an
So
investment
it doesn't meet the
contract
Howey
or
test.
security.
So therefore, it's a commodity. Is that fair?
I would say it's not a security, and then the test is otherwise for other.
Okay, so Gary Gensler says that Bitcoin is not a security, but that really doesn't matter what Gary Gensler says, because XRP is the only crypto in the United States with legal clarity, because speeches do not give you clarity. Either an asset at this point has to go through some sort of court process and a judge has to deem it a non-security, or Congress has to deem it a non-security. And Bitcoin has not gone through either one of those processes, and neither has Ethereum. And that's why I said I only look at XRP as having clarity. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Bitcoin. You know, that is like the grandfather of crypto. Without Bitcoin, we would not be where we are today. But let's face the facts that nobody has really given Bitcoin legal clarity in the United States. Yet XRP already has that. Then there's this, and this was definitely something worth playing for all of you.
You are your record. And our record in this country right now is $33 trillion in debt, facing $2 trillion annual deficits. We're in so much debt. We're driving up deficits so fast. We are devaluing American money so rapidly that in America today, you can't even bribe Democrat senators with cash alone. You need to bring gold bars to get the job done, just so that the bribes hold value.
That's where we are in the United States around the US dollar. The money is becoming more and more devalued all the time. And he's talking about that one senator that took actual gold as a bribe. But you know, as long as we keep going in this direction, even if we raise the debt ceiling, that money will be spent so quick. And at some point, the U.S. dollar is going to plummet in value. And when that time comes, that's when crypto and the stock market are going to skyrocket like never before. And I think we are going to see that happen over the course of the next 18 to 24 months. And that's why I talked about that in a video just the other day. But, you know, until this all plays out, we got to stay patient and stay positive. Let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.